Like a phoenix from the ashes, this Cubs team does it again. The Cardiac Kids. Oh, what a night. Come on in. Let's celebrate. There's more coming up on the postgame show right now. I feel postcoital. Wow. What a game. Thank you for joining us here on the Setup Man postgame show, part of the Setup Man Network. Forgive me. I need to catch my breath. Ty and I watched the end of the game together, and I think we're both a little lightheaded. We were both very negative, and then we were screaming. I'm guessing like a lot of you out there. So let me go through my spiel before we get to the good stuff. My name, Alex Brawl, alongside Ty the Cubs guy. This way, this side. I'm delusional. And you are listening to the Setup Man postgame show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the comment section. We know you're out there. We all know you are celebratory just like us. Get in the comments. Let's hear from you. And then also get ready to participate because my buddy Ty is going to post the link to this very stream in the comments below. You will have the opportunity in the third segment to join us, call in, celebrate, let us know what you're drinking, celebratory drinks, whatever you're getting into. Yeah, it's just like old school sports talk radio. You're going to call in, give your opinions, celebrate with us in this case. And then, yeah, I mean, we already got callers. Like, this is electric, man. What? We were skewing so negative before we started this stream. Oh, my God. Yeah, we'll get to your calls in a minute. Ty, where do we even start, man? I honestly don't even know.
You want me to talk? You want me to talk?
Sure, yeah. Or dance, whatever you want to do.
You want this show, you want to come on to this show. You want to bring all this value. You want to bring all this information. You want to bring all these things. Let's talk about the emotional roller coaster that is your 2025 Chicago Cubs. A team that we all probably could agree right now. This might be sustainable. This might be okay to work with for the 2025 season. We could all agree there are a few things they need to do before the playoffs if they're going to get into the playoffs and be a successful squad in the playoffs. Yes, we all want to talk about those things. We'll talk about those things here in the show. What I saw tonight was a team that 2016, Alex, was like the perfect, obviously, storm. Everything was working. Every position was covered to the T. You get Chapman at the deadline, all these different things. This team, I cannot remember another Cubs team that provides the roller coaster that the 2025 season provides. I truly, brother, I cannot put my finger on it. And I'm still in shock. Are you still like kind of sitting here being like, well, how do I even where do I start? Like, where do you start? Do you go to Shota Imanaga somehow, some way, almost getting through 6 innings, to Brad Keller getting squeezed on certain walks, and unfortunately, we have a AA player at third. Gavin Hollowell, who we all thought was going to get DFA'd in, I don't know, January.
Yep,
is a stud. Porter Hodge went 98 at Conforto first pitch, and I went, oh boy. I don't even my mind's lost, brother. My mind is lost.
I'm not kidding. A peek behind the curtain for you watching at home. Our outline as we were sitting and complaining the entire 8th inning. Tucker hits home run. We're like, okay, whatever, fake rally. And then all of a sudden, Miguel Amaya, bang, tie game. All right. Then we both looked at each other and said, if Hodge gets through this, they have to win this game here and now, because coming up for the Dodgers was Ohtani, Betts, Hernandez, and Freeman. You have to win now. Ian Happ, no time wasted. Bang. Game over. Cubs win. You and I are screaming. We're like, we got to go live. So my outline is a bit of a mess. But you know what? I know where we have to start. Gavin Hollowell, who everyone in our network and on Cubs Twitter said, this guy, he's easy. He's the cut. 40-man cut, you need a roster spot? That's your cut. See you later. And he came in tonight. Let me just read you his numbers. He went 2 innings, struck out 2, including the best baseball player on the face of the planet, Shohei Ohtani. This kid came in with, you know what the G in Gavin stands for? Castañas. He showed out tonight, man. For as much as we wanted to cut that guy, he's my player of the game. They do not win this game without his effort tonight, which is a crazy statement I would not have thought to say a month ago.
The ability to bring somebody in that situation where we feel as a organization we are missing on 2 particular spots in our organization right now. I would say not necessarily bullpen depth. I would say bullpen excellence. Because bullpen depth, we have a bunch of guys. We have a bunch of guys that have some form of a little bit of big league experience. I'm done with the depth topic of the Cubs. They already have that. We need excellence, right? We've seen this from the team they've played tonight that, by the way, if they win tomorrow, officially win the season series against the Dodgers, now tied 3-3.
If I would have told you that when they went 0-2 in Japan, you would have called me nuts, right?
I would have called you nuts because right now they have won the season series against the D-backs 4-3. The Padres, they're tied 3-3, and now they can beat the Dodgers in the series. But back to my point, where you have, as an organization right now, you have these pieces that you're almost there. You're almost there. And for a guy to come out and do what he did tonight in a position where realistically he probably thought he was never going to see the big league club, and to do what he did, man, again, my thoughts are all over the place, brother. I'm so sorry to everyone that's tuning in. I'm trying my best right now to keep my thoughts together, brother. But it's so nice to see that we are battling day in, day out as an organization. Are we also, do you want me to give another shout out as well? Can I give another shout out? I'd like to give a huge shout out to the one and only PCA.
Yes.
PCA is becoming a potential superstar. And I say potential superstar, not because, yes, everyone knew that he had a high ceiling, but he hadn't proven it yet. He had not proven, right? Defensively, he's always there. Stolen bases, speed, all that. Yes, all that's there. But at the dish has always been a concern. These numbers might be skewed just slightly, folks, so I apologize if I'm off by a number or two. But over the last 16 days, Alex, 49 at-bats, 18 hits, 11 runs, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 4 steals, and over a 1050 OPS.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were going to get this early.
Yeah. And you could even go back to last summer around the All-Star break when he figured it out the back half of last season. That he had a rough 2-week stretch, I would say, to start the season. But that's carried over. He looks confident. His swing decisions are good. Once in a while, he'll drive me nuts at the plate. He'll either take or he'll slam his bat down. That stuff kind of drives me nuts. But the evolution of these young guys, not just him, but shout out Michael Busch. He had a rough night tonight. But Michael Busch has also carried this team. Miguel Amaya. All these young guys were like, well, if they outperform projections, everyone's favorite phrase, right? They are all, if not meeting, surpassing expectations. It's wild. So I'm right there with you. My mind is all over the place with this because, like I said, you know what? I know where we need to go next before we get to our diamond notes and move the show along, because this could be a 3-hour long show for all I'm concerned, but we can't. the middle relievers are with you tonight. The setup man himself is watching, so I want to make sure we stick to our outline. But we need to have a Gage Workman conversation. 2 more errors tonight. He single-handedly gave up 5 runs. I'm not trying to kill the bad move, but it's a conversation that we need to have. He clearly is not the answer, right? I think we both agree there. What do you do? What is the short-term option?
So let's look at the stats right now, right? So Gage Workman and Vidal Brujan have 4 errors, but you probably want to say it's 5 based off the fact that they did not call the error in the Diamondbacks game on Friday an error. They called it a double when realistically the guy can't feel the ball left or right side. Hey, I'm not a type of guy who likes to bash on MLB big leaguers just because of the fact that, they're MLB big leaguers, but these things are really, really going to hurt this squad moving forward. But here's the stat. So if we're putting it all together, so 5 errors in just under 40 innings. Okay. Matt Shaw had 3 errors in 141 innings. So you look at that and you say, okay, probably not a good idea to have Gage Workman playing third base. If we're being truthfully honest here, right? The only ball he can field is the one right at him. John Birdie has 36 innings after tonight with 0 errors, and at play in the 9th was huge.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make that, that I don't even know how he caught that ball. That was tremendous. But realistically, and then at the end of the game there, you had potentially a lefty matchup when you had to bring in Carson Kelly in that situation. I'm going Carson Kelly obviously in that situation, but wouldn't it be nice to have a lefty bat off the bench? Absolutely. You don't have that right now. And so that was the part that I felt like, that was a little missed. And I know that, look, you are trying to find your solution right now. It's not Gage Workman, and you are not necessarily going to win all these games like this. It's just not going to happen. It needs to change now. He needs to either be in AAA or whatever the rules are. If there's somebody smarter than me in the comments that can mention now how it works, because I know it's a certain amount of innings played and all this different stuff that decides on if he has to go back to Detroit. I don't think Detroit's going to want him either. I don't think Detroit's not going to want him back.
You know what's funny about that is I had someone reach out to me on X last week when Shaw was demoted. And it sounds like if they demote... Now, again, I don't know. So if anyone in the comments knows, please share. But it kind of sounds like if they option him this early, he goes back to Detroit regardless. Okay. And I see some Sean Hendrickson, fellow setup man. He goes back to Detroit if they option.
Okay, perfect.
Good so, all right. It's not like we're talking about Ron Santo or Mike Schmidt or prime Nolan Arenado. We're not talking about these guys. This guy, I jokingly tweeted, or X'd, however you say it, during the game. He feels like Roger Dorn from Major League. He won't stay in front of the ball. He had one right at him, and he played it off to the side. That's Little League stuff, man. And his whole thing was, he's got a great glove. Oh, does he? Are we sure? I don't mean to be emotional about this. He's a big leaguer. I would never get to his level in a million years. However, if he's not hitting, which he's not, if he's committing errors to a game, by the way, then what is it you say you do here? Because if you're not playing defense and you're not hitting, I'm sorry, this front office has shown they're not tolerating any of the shortcomings. I see Bush at third. That's an interesting idea.
Okay. Guys, we are seeing a lot of comments coming in. We love it so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. This is tremendous. This is just so much fun.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, and the other thing we have to quickly talk about, too, the bullpen and the walks. Now, overall, they only walked 4 batters tonight. Not horrible. However, fun fact, courtesy of the setup man himself, Kyle Stanley, the Cubs, when they walk 4 or more batters, have a record of 3-6. Make it 4-6. I forgot to update after we just walked off the freaking Dodgers. Anyway, so they are now 4-6 on the season. And the other concern that we know it's a concern. Brad Keller technically gets hit with a blown save tonight. That's already the Cubs' 6th blown save, and it is April the 22nd. So, Ty, we know that there are options. You touched on the depth. Is this just something? It is just kind of what it is until we get to July. There are reports from Bruce Levine that they're looking, but no one's going to do any massive trades. Well, we do have a trade we'll get to in a little bit, but that the Cubs made. But what do you do now?
I know we got to get to our next segment here, so I'll be really, really quick. I think that you still have to trust the guys like Keller, Hodge, Presley, Merriweather, and if you want to go with the Hollowell thing, fine. Like if you want to play, if you want to be fun tonight, if you're having a good time tonight, like just throw them in your trust tree or trust circle, whatever you need to do. But I think realistically, right now, it just seems like when we have one guy that's got it, another guy sort of breaks down, and it's just tough. But hey, we can talk about this all night, Alex. And I think that right now, we're going to see adjustments made by this organization. They are in a rush to get things figured out ASAP. But I could definitely see like a Chris Flexen, some of these other names start to sort of populate into the picture because the Cubs aren't playing around.
Yeah, and actually, that's a perfect transition into our next segment, our Diamond Notes. So, with that in mind and pitching depth, we got to talk about Javier Assad real quick. So, he was supposed and did start his second rehab start tonight with AAA Iowa. Went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 Ks. However, while that's not sexy, he was pulled while warming up for the 5th inning. He was holding his side. He had an oblique injury to begin with. So it appears, I don't have any definitive reporting on this, it appears it's been a setback, re-aggravated that injury. So who knows what the Assad timeline is. So now we do have to talk about options like Chris Flexen. Chris Flexen was an innings eater for the White Sox last year. And this year in AAA Iowa, 22 and a third innings, 3-0, an ERA of 0.40, which is ridiculous on any level. I don't care if it's AAA, single A, or the big leagues. That's ridiculous. 19 Ks. So my question for you, Ty, is if Flexen is dealing down in AAA, Assad apparently, seemingly, is going to be out for quite a while now. Would you be tempted at the idea of Ben Brown moving to the bullpen for Chris Flexen to take a few starts? You're trying to save innings with Brown, coming off an injury. His stuff maybe plays better than Flexen's would in the bullpen. Is that something that intrigues you, or am I just talking out of my rear end?
So let's make this example here. Let's say Ben Brown goes to the bullpen and Chris Flexen is awful in the big leagues. What do you do from there?
Brown back in the rotation.
Brown back to the rotation. So now we're talking about altering this guy's routine. And when it comes to a guy who had an injury last year that was very unique, and it's not even necessarily arm related, but you're talking about a very unique injury. I think, though, it goes back to the point I made earlier. So I might be deviating away from my point here. I personally would rather just go with the Ben Brown route for now because I think that the bullpen is starting to, in certain elements, the trust tree is starting to be built. We're starting to see these guys come about. Like Brad Keller in the 6th there, if we have a guy that's actually legit in the 7th, he actually is probably taken out of that inning there, and we can go to a guy in the 7th like Merriweather, but obviously he was being saved for another night. But if you go this route of taking Ben Brown out of the rotation right now and Flexen is awful, then you realistically are putting this guy in a worse spot for the rest of the season. And then you risk him being injured early on because now you're screwing up his routine. That's all I know about big leaguers. That's all I know about the guys that I've met. It's all about their routines. And when their routines get out of check like that, it screws things up. I might be at the minority here of saying like all of this, honestly, Alex, but preferably I would just like to see Ben Brown continue to go because the way he has looked, yes, the walks are a little scary, but I feel like he's starting to find his own a little bit, and he's starting to look like a solid 3 or I would say 4 in the rotation, and I think we really need that right now. And my answer, honestly, would have been totally different if the Assad news didn't come into play.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I bring it up, because I think I'm with you. I think I want Ben Brown in the rotation because he's more of a ceiling raiser. But Chris Flexen's making a push. You're not going to be able to keep him down there forever. What do you do? Cade Horton, same thing. What are you going to do? And it's the same argument for Ben Brown as it is Cade Horton. They're going to be on limited innings coming off injury. What do you do? Now, granted, these are good problems to have. Oh, no, you have 3 good pitchers. What are you going to do? These are good problems to have. But my point in saying is, like, you have 2 guys in AAA that Cade might be a little farther away. But Flexen's like, hey, I'm a proven big league starter. You guys need innings. 1 + 1 is 2. Like, it's just putting together innings. So at some point, we need to have that conversation. But speaking of former stars, because we didn't even talk about this guy, Jordan Wicks. That was also part of the news this past weekend. Jordan Wicks sent down for today's hero. Gavin Hollowell took his spot. So if you don't know Gavin Hollowell, he literally had a cup of coffee with the Cubs last year, pitched 1 inning. That was it. He's back. He's 27 years old. AAA this year, 5 games, 6 1/3, 3 walks, 10 Ks, a 4.26 ERA, and obviously was awesome tonight in the big leagues. So, but Jordan Wicks is another option too. I'm sorry, well, just very quickly. I know we're not really talking about this past weekend. I thought he was fine. I don't think Wicks' stuff plays out of the bullpen. But just your thoughts quickly on Jordan Wicks.
No, because he's a soft throwing lefty and he has to find his feel throughout the entire game. I mean, realistically, so you got 4 or 5 innings that you can work with. And honestly, I even thought about the fact of going like Wicks and like a Ben Brown sort of like split, just because of the fact that you have that soft throwing lefty comparatively to the hard throwing righty with the knuckle curve. But honestly, I know Jordan Wicks didn't necessarily look that bad. The problem is, it's just like, where is his place right now? Really, like if he's not necessarily like, where does his stuff play? Like, it doesn't really fit into this rotation. I know it's not necessarily the best pitching situation in everyone's eyes right now. I love this comment that I saw here earlier. I want to throw it back up. We're talking about we faced amazing teams, and going after the bullpen is a little strict. I get that, but we got to be not walking the world. But I would say that I just don't necessarily see his stuff playing well for a little bit. I think he needs to find himself over in AAA a little bit longer.
Yeah, he was fine, but this team doesn't need fine right now. They need above average to awesome. And they are taking flyers on guys, which leads us to our last quick note here. The Cubs yesterday acquired left-handed veteran Drew Pomerantz from the Seattle Mariners for cash. The 36-year-old southpaw has not pitched in the major league since 2021 and missed all of 2022 with injuries. And ever since then, he's been plagued with injuries. But in 2021, pitched in 27 games, 25 2/3 innings, 30 Ks, 10 walks, and an ERA of 1.75. That sounds like a guy the Cubs could use, but that was also 4 years ago. In AAA this year with Seattle, 9 2/3, 14 Ks, 6 walks, and a 4.66 ERA. However, that ERA is a little deceiving. So he gave up 2 runs. 2 runs in his first 4 outings and 0 runs since. So he's been solid as of late. He's also got a 50% whiff rate on his curveball. So what are your expectations for Pomerantz? Is this just kind of a dart throw? Let's see what happens.
That's all it is, in my opinion. Because I don't see. The thing is like with the whole pitching lab thing and the Tyler Zombro effect, we're starting to see these certain arms that throw these certain pitches. If folks are sort of hearing this for the first time, Tyler Zombro came in the organization. Tread Athletics is this pitching lab that a lot of the big leaguers have started to go to over the last couple of years, and has really become a great, basically analytical department for the Cubs, an additional department to what they have. And so a lot of these moves you're seeing, I'm going to be honest with you, man, they might see one legitimate little thing with him that they can tweak, that they can use in a certain situation this year. Because it feels like the Cubs are finding these little diamonds in the rough and using them in unique situations thus far. Have you seen that sort of the same way or not really?
I mean, Keller is the shining example of this, right? I mean, Brad Keller was a cast-off. Now all of a sudden we're trusting him in the 6th and 7th inning against the Dodgers. Just going through Ethan Roberts, he's not a household name. They found him. Hollowell, Porter Hodge, like all these guys, they're just kind of finds. It's not like, oh, this guy's coming. They're finds. And that's great if they're effective. And with Pomerantz, he was an all-star in 2016. That's 9 years ago now. He's 36 years old. He pitched for Craig Counsell, so there's some familiarity there. And I want to point out, too, Taylor McGregor on the broadcast tonight pointed out that he'll be here. The expectation is he will be here in the next week or so. So it's going to be pretty quick turnaround, too. So I am interested to see how that happens. But we got to keep this line moving because we see some callers in the background. So before we get to that, Ty, if you want to do me a favor and drop the link in the chat one more time, we are going to get to the setup sins and your calls right after this message from our friends at Obvious Shirts.
Setup Nation, I want to take a quick break so that you know how you can support our channel and wear some cool swag like this. We've teamed up with Obvious Shirts to give you a chance to have your very own Setup Man shirt or hat. Pick from 3 different types of shirts or my personal favorite, the trucker hat. Go to the link in the description of this video and podcast to claim your Setup Man apparel. And thank you so much for supporting our channel.
This almost feels like dirty work doing setup sins after what we just witnessed, but this is what we have prepared. So we apologize, Setup Nation. You're just going to have to take this tonight. Setup sins for tonight. Bottom of the second inning, Cubs had 2 guys on. They don't score with a runner on and nobody out. Runner at third, that is. In our second sin, which is probably my favorite sin of the season so far, the Cubs taking Workman in the Rule 5 draft. It just hasn't worked, man. And it doesn't look like there's any sort of saving grace there, as we talked about at length already. So I'm not going to rehash that. And then bottom of the 5th, leadoff walk to Swanson from the Dodgers. Cubs, I don't believe, capitalized on that. But those are your setup sins for this game. It doesn't feel right doing sins. We maybe should have switched that to blessings. You know what? Just impromptu blessings. Miguel Amaya, awesome. Gavin Hollowell, awesome. Kyle Tucker, pay that man his money. Please.
We didn't really give Kyle Tucker his love for the 2-run home run, and it's almost overlooked at this point at how unbelievable. It's so cool, Alex, when you want to turn on the TV for a lot of these players right now. And realistically, dude, when was the last time you sat there being like, I really want to turn on the TV to watch a Cubs player play? Realistically.
Truthfully, it's probably 2020, and that was a Mickey Mouse season, as we all know. That was COVID. But they still had their guys. They were rolling. They won the division. And that team wasn't amazing by any means, but it was still Javi, KB, Rizzo. That's probably the last time. I don't
have it. We have it with Kyle Tucker, man. And now
so cool.
Pete Crow Armstrong. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable, dude. Hey, let's get to the callers.
Let's open up some
lines. These guys. I want to talk to these guys.
Yeah, let's do it. I just have to find the imaging here, if I can find it. This is the issue of doing it live when you're all psyched up. Okay, here we are. So I found the imaging. We are going to open up the lines. It is time for our 30 Thoughts in 30.
You suck! Woo-hoo!
On your marks, get set, go!
Time to open up the lines, and it is time for Thoughts in 30, where we invite you, the fans, commenters, whoever's watching, to call in, share your thoughts, celebrate with us, tell us what you're drinking, a little celebratory something. Anything you want to talk about tonight, come on in. You get 30 seconds. We'll talk with you, and then we'll move on to the next caller. So if you haven't already, Ty has posted that link twice in the comments. Make sure you click that link. Hop in the backstage. We will get to you in just a second. Familiar face. He's got his PCA jersey on. How fitting is that? Mr. David Lutter, welcome to the program.
I'm telling you, boys, how's it going?
Oh, it's amazing. How are you, sir?
Big money,
I'm
Dave!
great. There's so much to talk about in this game. I hit the margarita in the top of the 7th inning when it just all blew up. But life is good. Listen, this team fears no one.
You got your 30 seconds, Dave.
They have no quit. It's amazing. Now, I can't take credit for this, but I saw it on TikTok today, and I want to throw this out there because we're talking about Gage Workman. What if we sent Michael Bush to third base and we bring up Mo Baller from AAA to play first base?
So can I really just quickly jump in here? There obviously has been a lot of work done with Mo Baller, Moises Ballesteros, for the folks who don't know Mo Baller. But what I love about the fact is that they've really, really started to hammer home the catching side with him. And right. I apologize, Dave. I don't know the number of starts he's had over at first base over the last 2 years. But let's be realistic for just a second. We are losing games right now based on defense over at third base. My fear is that if you take that third baseman and you put Michael Bush over there, which we don't even know how he's going to do per se. He's done great over at first. Don't get me wrong. I think he would actually do a solid job over at third. My fear is then now we're taking issues into our own hands over at first base. So we're almost not really solving the problem at hand, which is third base. What are your thoughts, Alex?
You hit it right on the head. It's all, to me, it feels like shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, I get the idea. He played third base. Like, I get the overall point, but he's a Gold Glover at first, man.
Yeah, he is.
and he can even cover up for some of the throwing mistakes from third base. So it just,
Yeah.
I get the sentiment because it's so terrible over there right now, but he's a gold glove at first, man. I wouldn't touch that, but I get the idea.
I get it, because a lot of people have been wanting to get Mo up and get his bat in the lineup. And unless Suzuki gets hurt, I don't see him coming up.
No, he's kind of,
and so the only other option for me, and the guy has looked passable and he gives you good at bats, is John Birdie.
We both said that during the broadcast. John Birdie at this point has to play every day at third base.
Pretty much.
The option.
And if they don't DFA Workman tomorrow, what are we doing? It's a wasted roster spot right now.
Yeah, I don't really see the concern in necessarily like what is the point of keeping him? And if the pain is it's sending him there, just get it done. Send the message. Like you've sent the message on every other player.
Exactly.
Like every single position. And that's why the Cubs are so good in every other position, because those players are saying, hey, I don't want to get sent back down.
Exactly.
And I will say this really quick about your point about Mo Baller. We got two other callers, so we'll get to them really quick. But I do want to make one really good point here, is that think about the fact that like if Seiya goes down, I talked about bullpen depth earlier, talking about I want bullpen excellence. The hitters that they can have come up in Seiya's spot right now are tremendous. They are tremendous with Mo Baller.
Yeah, exactly. If I may, I know you got your caller, so I'll make this quick. PCA, his OPS now is over 830. And I don't know if you saw this in Bush's last at bat. He's got a 950 OPS right now.
It's awesome, dude.
We have an incredible team, and all that stuff about, if we can just get through April around 500. Folks, we're 5 games over 500, baby.
We're playing well, baby.
We got Boyd going tomorrow. We can take the season series from the Dodgers. Wouldn't it be sweet to be done with the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres and pretty much own everything on all 3 of those teams?
Yeah. Fire me up one time, Dave.
Fire me up, Dave. Come on.
We got to roll. Boys. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate you, Dave.
See ya.
Oh, my goodness. Those are the calls I love, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go to Eddie. Eddie looks like he's wandering outside. Eddie, were you at the game today?
Of course I was at the game today.
Hell yeah.
He's sweating. Look at him. He's wiping the sweat.
I'm always sweating, but baseball's fun, guys. Like Friday was crazy. Today was crazy. You lost a close one on Sunday, but like, isn't it awesome to just be playing these good teams and you're beating them or playing right with them? Like it felt like playoff baseball today at Wrigley, and it was awesome.
So I don't even know if I want to give you time because I just want you to answer my questions. But can you just take us curiously for me, Ty, and the audience? What was it like sitting in Wrigley Field today?
I can give you kind of both days. This was even better than on. Yeah, this was even better than on Friday. It was. Oh my God, this was awesome. Oh my God, this game's so much fun. We're doing it. What the hell is going on? How are we going to blow this game? It's nuts. And then just elation of the comeback and the fun. I mean, both days were awesome. Today, I think because it's the Dodgers and there's a little extra juice with a lot of Dodgers fans there, it was electric in there, man. It was fun.
Oh, I forgot the Dodgers fans threw a parade. If you did not see this video on Twitter,
yeah,
they literally Dodger fans like threw a parade through Wrigleyville, and this just that makes this win so much sweeter. I'm so glad you brought that up. God bless you, Eddie.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. Baseball is fun. Keep enjoying. Let's go get another one tomorrow.
Hell yeah! Thank you for the call, Eddie. Appreciate you, man.
All righty, bye.
Oh
I love that perspective so much. That was sick.
Oh, this is just great. Let's go to our last caller, friend of the show, Jacob. Welcome back to the program.
Howdy.
How are you?
And
today,
this
sir?
is my drink of choice so far.
A monster at this time of night? Do you not want to sleep?
I don't sleep anyways. It's fine.
Oh, well, in that case.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm going to put your 30 seconds on the clock. Let's get to it. How do you feel? How are you feeling?
So, first of all, Gavin Holloway, I love him because I also throw submarine. And yeah, I just want to, again, I know you guys give him his props. He looks great today.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the superstar thing with Kyle Tucker. I was very fortunate where I was born in 07. By the time I was able to become an Cubs fan and, think about the games and watch the games. But we had Rizzo, we had Brian coming, we had Baez, we had all that. So I was, lucky enough, as my dad would say, immediately to be pushed into one of the most successful eras of Cubs baseball, period. But here's the thing with you, when you have a superstar, you should not know you have a superstar type of thing, because you should not be talking about him, because that means either he's most likely doing really, really bad or really, really good. And most likely, because of how baseball is, it's going to be really, really bad. You want to be talking about the other players, because that means your superstar is just chugging along, going with his, 900 OPS or whatever it is, and being the engine of the team.
Yeah, Ty said it earlier. Like, we almost are spoiled already. We've had this guy for 3 weeks. It's like, oh, Tucker's going to be Tucker. And then, oh, look at these young guys, huh? Compliment them. Oh, this is fun. Like, we're already so spoiled. Bottom line, pay the man. Ty, your thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
You said it beautifully, Jacob. I appreciate you staying up with us, my friend. And
of course,
this is a lot of fun.
Yep. And get ready for some Colin Ray love tomorrow.
Okay.
I was originally going to do that today,
here
and I decided I could not do that with the win. I'm like, we're going to talk about the win. But get ready for some Colin Ray love and why I think he's going to continue being this pretty good.
For the Cubs' sake, I hope so. Jacob, we appreciate your call. Thank you for calling in, sir. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, actually, not tomorrow. We have an announcement before we close this sucker down.
We have one more caller.
Is there another caller? Oh, my gosh. We have more things to get to. Friend of the show, Break Even Tom, a.k.a. Will. There he is.
What's up? I'm under the weather, and I just got back from the game, too. Me and Eddie need to do a duo live coming back from the game, because I didn't even know he was there. So,
Give this man his 30 seconds. Give it.
I was going to say, last time he didn't even need it. He just said, how about them Cubs, and then hung up. So here, 30 seconds on the clock and go.
Cubs. All I got to say is the Dodgers can't beat us unless it's in a foreign country and getting all the breaks for Ohtani. We own them in L.A. We own them in Chicago. Plain and simple. And let's give Porter Hodge some props, because without him getting out of that 10th inning, we don't get the walk-off. The dude was nails. And last but not least, Justin Turner saved the game in the 9th with that play.
Yeah, which is crazy, because Justin Turner, we didn't give any love in the program, and he's been pretty mid. So, yeah, thank you for shouting out Justin Turner.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
All right, feel better, my man.
This is what's funny. I passed a kidney stone during the win. That's how bad it was tonight.
Hey, whatever it takes. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia literally did that exact episode.
Y'all have a good night.
Thanks for calling in. That's dedication right there. If you're pushing out kidney stones for a Cubs victory, I mean, that's the top of the fan pyramid. All right, before we shut this whole place down, we do have an announcement. So, usually our schedule is Sunday to Wednesday. However, this is one of those rare times where tomorrow does not work scheduling-wise. So, we're not going to screw you guys out of a show, because we love you, the audience, and we love doing this, especially on nights like tonight. So, this Friday, the setup man himself, Kyle Stanley, and I will be doing a post-game show. They play the Phillies at 1:20 on Friday. We will be doing a post-game show for that to make sure we at least bring you one more show this week. So, that is Friday after the game. It'll be posted on all social media. So if you missed this announcement, that's okay. Friday, after the 1:20 game against the Phillies, Kyle and I will be going live to do a post-game show. And yeah, looking forward to that. So no show tomorrow. There will be one on Friday. Holy smokes. I don't know how I'm going to go to sleep. I have to work at 5:30 in the morning. So I'm going
to be up really early as well. Can I just make a couple points about tomorrow's game, Alex?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for tomorrow, I know Jacob mentioned Colin Ray. It's actually Matthew Boyd who's scheduled to start tomorrow against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to go with a bullpen game. Now, people think, they used all their bullpen arms tonight. There's a guy by the name of Ben Kasparius. There's another guy by the name of Jack Dreyer. They have some names in their pen right now that are very, very legit. And so tomorrow, don't overlook the fact that it's a bullpen game for the Dodgers. They have some very talented arms in their bullpen. Shocking. Alex, I'm just excited to see, can Matthew Boyd cement his first, I'm talking cement your first game as a Cub that you set the tone for the rest of the year. If you want to be possibly that number 2, tomorrow is your opportunity.
That is a great point. And thank you for shouting out tomorrow's game. Yeah, Matthew Boyd has been pitching as good as anyone in this rotation. So there is a legit chance the Cubs by April 23rd will have taken the season series from the Dodgers, which is a wild sentence I never thought I would say, especially after Japan. But thank you for doing that, Ty. And thank you for joining me tonight, Ty. This was an absolute blast, brother. I appreciate it. And to the callers, thank you so much. You guys brought it as always. To everyone watching, thank you guys. These are the kind of nights we want to do this stuff for. It was so much fun. What a game. Oh, what a night. Cubs win. Fly the damn W. We are done. We are going to go put our arms on ice. However, we will see you Friday when they take on the Phillies, me and Kyle. Yeah, let's go ice up our arms, man. This was a blast. Go Cubbies!